We are seeing right now a massive short squeeze happening on Bitcoin, exactly as I told you. And now the big question is, what are the next levels that we need to watch? Is this a solid breakout, or will we just see another fake out to the downside? That is something that we need to talk about today. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like this video, and activate the bell so that you will never miss out on these really important updates. And now let's jump directly into it. So today we're going to start off with the liquidations. Here we can see over the last 4 hours, over the last 4 hours, massive short liquidations across all exchanges were occurring, and that is no big surprise when you see moving Bitcoin 3-4% in a single hour. So all these shorts got punished for that, and now you see here once again why I'm always telling you, don't short in a bull market. You don't want to short in a massive uptrend, because at days like this, where the market turns against you, you could get completely wiped out. And that's why I usually never short in a bull market. Now, I tell you, I was tempted to short, but in the end, I said, no, I'm not shorting in general in the bull market. I'm not going to start now. So I did not do it. When we're going here, our weekly chart, what we can clearly see is that Bitcoin is right now retesting the downward sloping trend line that is still acting as a resistance. So we are technically just like by a little bit above that trend line right now, but it's really tiny bit that we are above it. To see some follow through on the weekly, we need that Bitcoin gets above $63,873. Once we are breaking that level, I expect a move over coming weeks into the $70,000 area. We saw here another retest of that underlying support zone that is still holding. So here again, reaffirm you guys that I believe this will hold and that we're not breaking under it anytime soon. Also, on the stochastic RSI, exactly as I pointed out before, is about to give us here a buy signal this week. By the end of the week, it will be confirmed to 100%. And once we are putting in this buy signal, I'm pretty sure that Bitcoin could be around $65,000 or eventually a little bit higher than that. Here on the daily chart, also the support resistance flip zone is acting again as support. Here we are also moving to the upside right now. The volume overall is increasing, and it is a lot of buying happening. So there's buying pressure increasing here in the volume bars. That is also something that we like to see. Here still, regardless, is missing a huge volume breakout to the upside, ending this downwards trend of the overall volume. So once that is coming in, and hopefully in the shape of a green candle, you're going to see that also in the Bitcoin price. So, and the Bitcoin price could literally spike to like $66,000 if we would get it today or tomorrow. I'm not saying that this is going to happen today or tomorrow, but if we would get that kind of volume candle, then yes. Here right now, the most important thing for us on the daily chart is that we are trading above the 100 moving average here. Close today's daily candle above that level, and you could technically start aping into here a long-term position or a swing position to trade this into the all-time high or past the all-time high into the next target of that major flag here of what was it? $93,700. Here on the 12-hourly chart, you see it even clearer that we have broken this downward sloping trend here. We are running right now in the temporary resistance that I was marking out yesterday. Here from 62,600 to 63,100 approximately, but we are still holding on to that resistance area. Also here, if Bitcoin can close within that area and we are not dropping out, or let me put it this way, if we are just closing right under it, I still believe that the next 12 hours going to push above it into the next resistance area sitting here at $64,400 to $65,200. And that will also be then, for me, more or less the confirmation that the inverse head and shoulders pattern is playing out here. Because we have the left shoulder, we have the head, we have the right shoulder then almost completed when we get up here. And remember, we only need to get above $66,000 to confirm that, and we have then our target of $72,000 to the upside. When we're looking at the indicators on the 12-hourly chart here, MACD turning bullish, stochastic pointing to the upside, RSI breaking above 50%. So overall, all indicators in alignment for continuation, as long as we can close in the next 1.5 hours at current prices. Also here on the liquidation levels, we have now broken above that downward sloping trend line here on the 4-hourly chart. We are barely above it. So here I would like to see in the next hour a small move back to like $63,100 and close this 4-hourly candle there, and then start liquidating everybody all the way up to like $64,800. So here again, right now, the liquidity to the upside is closer to us than the one below us, around $60,500. I give that right now a really small chance that we are actually tapping into it, because we started to trigger now a short squeeze already. Firmly believe that we're going to see some follow through here over the next coming hours, potentially even going to $65,700 in the next 3 days approximately. When we're looking at the liquidation heat map here on the weekly chart, also here you see that liquidity is stacked above us massively and not so much right below us. Also here the direction remains to the upside. When we're going here to a monthly chart, you will see it even clearer. Here, the hot areas, they're above us at $65,600, more or less in alignment with the $65,700 target that I just mentioned. And then the next one at $67,450 approximately. So here's almost $1 billion, and down here is $1 billion. So if we would break here to the upside, this is $3 billion liquidated if we get to $67,450. The next short squeeze will be triggered if we get above $63,900. That will then give us enough fuel to move above $64,000. Here, I want to remind you there is a resistance at $64,500 that we also need to break, and that should give us some resistance. So I don't expect this to break on the first attempt, but maybe on the second or third attempt after some consolidation. On this chart, we see that we bounce beautifully off this trend line here and started to trend now to the upside. Here we can mark out another interesting area that Bitcoin needs to overcome right now. That is this one here, from 62,300 to 63,250 more or less. Once we are breaking above that, there's more or less blue skies all the way up to like $67,000 based on this chart here. Don't forget, if you want to trade anywhere and want to get a Rolex plus some cash and 10% cashback bonus for the money that you deposit, go to BLOFIN. It's one of our new partners. Or go to BYBIT. They also still get $30,000 for using one of my links here down below. And if you cannot use a BYBIT, use a Margex or Phemex. On Phemex, you also still get up to $9,000. And if you just want to copy trade me with the highest bonus in industry, $120,000 available on FAIRDESK. All these links are in the pinned comment below and in the description of this video. And now I'm also going to show you how my trades are doing. So here on BLOFIN, yesterday you saw I was like up like $50, something like that. So I'm 6x more up than yesterday. I was here at some point already at almost $400 on this position. Remember, I changed my take profit point yesterday from 63,500 to 64,400. If I would have left it at 63,500, I would have come here really close to that level. But I'm just going to let it ride because, like I said, I believe we're going to see continuation. And here also, this ascending triangle has broken to the upside and has also reached the technical target. So if you were trading this, congratulations, you should have made a nice back here of this trade. And also on BYBIT, my trades are going still pretty well here. My Bitcoin trade, $1,700 in profit, 80%, and my ton trade exploding 200%, $2,400 right now here. $2,400, yes, on this ton position. And I guess by tomorrow, this one will be closed at the $8 mark. Here you see I have 63,500 as a target for this Bitcoin trade because I use higher leverage on that. So I'm a little bit more careful with a position like that. And here I posted it yesterday under the videos as promised. So here I have also now the spreadsheet for all the calls that I have now given recently. I just left the date from yesterday. From today onwards, if I make new calls, we're gonna keep them accurate with the date. So just go to the description of the video. Let me actually show you where you find this, because not here in the top section. You have to scroll down a little bit. So it is here. Here, YouTube trade calls. Just under the Discord link, there you find Google Doc, where we track all the trades with the entry, take profit, and the stop losses. And keep watching it, because sometimes I do stop losses or take profit points. Better you have that on a bookmarked option in your chart, you know, so that you can always look at it, what I'm actually doing here on this chart. Now, when we go to the total market cap, we are about to break back up into this support area here. Here again, the week just started, so we need to wait here a little bit. But if Bitcoin continues its trajectory that it has right now, I'm not really concerned that we are not breaking above $2.3 trillion here. USDT dominance finally getting again rejected from the 5% mark. Here we see right now a rounding top shape, which I highly like to see here. And something else that I want to point out, we start to make more lower highs on the chart overall here on a macro structure, because look here, lower high, lower high, lower high. If we keep that up, that is something that we're looking forward to, because that means that the market overall is going to run, and the USDT dominance will keep falling to the downside. But I want to remind you, when we get down here to 4.72%, 4.75%, be a little bit careful. We could get a small bounce from there back to the upside before we then finally break it to the downside and continue to move here into lower price levels. Now, really quick, Ethereum. Honestly, Ethereum, that's not looking so good anymore with that 4-hourly candle that we put in here. It was looking better, but it just shows you how much resistance is here between $2,950 to $2,975, because let's be honest, it's so close to the $3,000 mark, and that's always a psychological level. So I kind of understand why we're seeing a rejection candle like this, but it's definitely not bullish, you know, to see something like this here right now. The only bullish thing is that also here we broke the downward sloping trend line, and we are above that volume cluster. But the real volume cluster that we need to overcome is this one here. Only if we finally move above here these volume areas, we are going to see Ethereum moving in direction of $4,000. So, and here on the 4-hourly chart, it does not look so good, but I can give you some hope here on the daily. We're looking a little bit better, because the daily just put in here a buy signal on the stochastic RSI. The RSI itself is also cranking up here to the upside, and the MACD will print a buy signal if we can hold current prices, which will also bring us back into this pennant, that bear pennant, and a potential breakout out of the falling wedge overall. And then we need to see here over the next 2-3 days some follow through to get above the EMA ribbon and break into this resistance area, which will be hard for Ethereum to do, and get over it so that we can continue our trajectory, like I said, to $4,000 and beyond. Solana was looking today in the beginning really, really weak. I'm gonna be honest here. You know, when it started dropping down, I got a little bit scared, but overall it's still fine. So here, this trade, you should not be in this trade right now, because we did not close a 1-hourly candle above the entry point. So if you are in not yet in this trade, wait for a 1-hourly candle closing above $146.60 here. Only then enter. Otherwise, if we drop back down here into our first buy zone, that will be another good area for you to buy. Otherwise, wait for a break here above into our take profit here at $170. Here on the 4-hourly chart, also here we are looking pretty good. Same picture, RSI pointing massively to the upside, stochastic RSI to the upside, RSI also pointing to the upside. So overall, also looking really, really bullish here. Then Ton, Telegram. I told you guys, for quite a while that you should have bought here in the buy zone after we broke this downward sloping resistance line. And I can tell you also Ton has some more fuel in the tank to move here higher, even though we put in here a quite bearish candle. But we still have over 1 hour to turn this kinda around. So if TON comes back to $7.35, we should close in green, and that could then print the precursor for a continuation candle in the direction of $7.69 here. You are still in this trade, but you took off here 25% and here now 50%. You have 25% remaining. Set your stop loss to $7.08. You cannot lose anymore. And you will still make a nice bag just in case that you get stopped out. It's always better to take profits when they present themselves instead of round tripping them. So, but overall, the indicators are also showing here still continuation, the stochastic to the upside, MACD printing a buy signal, only the RSI flatlining right now. And that is because of this little bit of selling going on. But like I said, if this turns around and we go like 10, 15 cents higher, then also the RSI should point again to the upside. Fetch also was worrying me a little bit this morning, but that also changed now here overall. Here is still this massive downward sloping resistance line that Fetch needs to break in terms of reaching our target here of $2.80. Here we got close to our stop loss, but we did not even reach it, so which is good. Here again, wait for a break above the $2.70 level if you are not in this trade yet to get a break. And if you are in this trade, just hang on there. Hang on there. You know, so I do the same thing. Here, something else really bullish. First of all, is here this falling wedge pattern. The indicators also stochastic pointing to the upside, MACD printing buy signal, RSI going sideways. Once we are seeing here a move from the RSI above 50%, we should break out of this falling wedge and start moving in direction of this downward sloping trend line, which is more or less in alignment with the $2.33 resistance area all the way up here. And then the last coin that we're going to talk about today is ICP. ICP looks also primed to finally break this downward sloping trend here. The RSI, stochastic RSI was flatlining on the bottom for quite a while. So we get here a small pinch right now to the upside. This can happen really, really quick with ICP. So I want to warn you here, guys. ICP has the uncanny ability to print candles like this over the day. So be not surprised if you see ICP moving up here to like $13 today. If it's not happening, we are closing today's candle as it is, then most likely by tomorrow we are going to get such a move, because when you see indicators flatlining like this on the bottom and you see fading selling pressure on the MACD and the trend, signal and the trend line also going parallel to each other and are about to print a buy signal with the RSI pointing to the upside on a daily chart, that is a sign of price suppression with a really big breakout in the works. You know, remember that example that I gave you with a spring. You know, the more you squeeze it, the more kinetic energy is building up there. And once you release it, it will jump like crazy to the upside, you know, and the more you squeeze it down, the more energy is concentrating there. And that is the same thing that's happening here, you know. So the more we are coiling down here and the more narrow that range gets, the more volatile, the more volatile will be the breakout out of this narrow range here. And the target still remains the same here, $20.76. Remember, guys, that is a swing trade. That's not something that we want to close prematurely. And trading this on spot is more than enough, because here, look at this. If you trade this basically here from the breakout, this is giving you almost 67%, and to the other target 119%-ish. More than enough profits, guys. If you want to really trade here with leverage, use 2-3x. That's more than enough and is then double or tripling your initial money that you put on this trade. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in again. Don't forget, smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you then again with more profits tomorrow.